Hi, hello, good day all of you. Welcome to our session. Welcome to our channel, Intelligible Tutorials. In my past video, I gave the introduction of Apache Kafka. So, what is an Apache Kafka? What is a producer? What is a consumer? What are the topics? What are the categories? So, what is a Kafka broker? It is a server actually. And what is a producer? And how a Kafka cluster is connected to multiple number of the producers. What is a Kafka cluster actually? A Kafka cluster is nothing but a collection of the brokers, collection of multiple brokers. So it is nothing but a collection of multiple brokers. That is your Kafka cluster. Okay, so what is a producer actually? Which sends an application. Okay, which sends a message. So all the producers are connected like this. And next, now what we are going to see is, so Kafka topic, a category or a name, and what is a consumer group also. This thing also we did. What is a Kafka topic also we discussed in my past video. And now what I am going to see, what is a partition. So partition is a part of the Kafka topic, how these partitions are shared by multiple number of consumers in a given consumer group. And next we discussed what is a zookeeper. It is a supermaster which is going to ensure these two properties of distributivity and as well as the fault tolerance. So what is a cluster? It is a collection of multiple brokers. So like that, all these concepts we discussed in my past video. And next I am going to discuss some more important concepts of the Apache Kafka. So we discuss some more important concepts here. The very first one is topic partition. So Kafka topics are divided into number of the partitions as we discussed, which allow you to split data across multiple number of the processes that already we discussed. So what is a consumer group? A collection of consumer processes is called a consumer group which works on a particular topic. What is a node? A node is a single computer in the Apache Kafka, and replicas, a replica of a partition is a backup of the partition. Replicas never read or write data. They use to prevent the data loss. That for that purpose we use these replicas. And what is a producer? Which sends the messages. Consumer which receives the messages, right? And the next one, what we are going to see, why Apache Kafka is needed. See, massive volumes of data whenever it is generating in the real time. For example, all the social networks in the Twitter and in the Facebook and in the FB, Insta, everywhere, the massive amounts of the data is generating within a fraction of time. It is a teradata it is generating. So there is a need of the tools for real-time handling of the such data for real-time streaming. For that, your Apache Kafka is an effective tool which helps you to solve such kind of key relevant problems for real-time streaming, right? So next what we are going to see is what are the various characteristics of this Apache Kafka. Now we will see. The very first one is nothing but your real-time processing. So it is very good to handle real-time data streams, allowing you to business to process and act as data as it happens. So what is the first one we need to remember here? Handling real-time data streams. The next one I told previously, it is fault tolerant. Even if any one of the part will fail, the rest of the thing will take the responsibility of it. So it is highly reliable in such case. And next one is scalable. So it scales horizontally by adding multiple number of the brokers, allowing to handle growing the data loss, data loads. So it is highly scalable. Scalable means whenever we can add more number of the brokers, it is highly scalable. And it's a event driven architecture, so enabling the systems to respond to events in real time without having a constantly poll for changes. So it is an event driven architecture. And next we see how this particular Kafka will work. What are the steps of this particular Kafka? How the steps helps to work with it. We will see once again. We will have a look on this. See here, Apache Kafka moves data from one place to another in a smooth and reliable way from producer to consumer. So producer sends the data. Producers are the applications that create data and send it to Kafka. The data can be anything. It may be logs, transactions, user activities, or events. And what this Kafka will do, Kafka splits the data into smaller parts. The topics, actually these topics can be divided into smaller partitions, making easier to handle large amounts of the information. And how the Kafka stores the information, the data can be stored in the form of the topics, and it will can be stored in a certain period. And even if a consumer reads data, Kafka does not delete immediately. To prevent data loss, Kafka makes copies. See, I will show you practically. There is a thing called Kafka logs. So here everything will be stored in the Kafka logs folder. There we can see how the log data can be stored. So everything doesn't delete immediately. So data will not be lost. It is highly reliable in the Kafka. So Kafka stores the data. It doesn't delete directly the data. And what is the next one? After producing the data, the consumer reads the data, right? So consumers, what are the consumers? These are the applications that subscribe to topics and read the messages. Okay. Load balancing is also one of the property of the consumers and consumer groups. Load balancing. So no message is processed twice here. See, consumer groups, each and every consumers are divided into set of the consumer groups. So no message is processed twice. Consumers can choose where to start reading, whether from newest message or an earlier point in a consumer group. Okay, so Kafka read the consumers read the data. Not only consumers, the multiple consumers also can read the data. They can form a group. So multiple consumers in a consumer group CG. So they can work on one single topic. Okay, as previously we discussed. And next, last one is nothing but Kafka balances the load. See, uh, the third one, which is the third one, Zookeeper. Who balances the load? Who is the supermaster? Who is responsible for all these things, for metadata and all these things, distributivity and fault tolerances, and for all these responsible thing is nothing but your Zookeeper. Zookeeper helps Kafka manage to which server is in charge of storing and distributing the data. The server is also called as broker here. So Zookeeper is a supermaster which can see which broker is working on what topic, which broker is working on what kind of storing and distributing of the data, right? So if server goes down, Kafka automatically redirect the data to the another server. So this is the feature of the distributivity. See here, once again let me show you the previous one. See here, if you see the previous one, let me show you once again. See here, step number 4, Kafka balances load. And if a server goes down, if at all any broker is not working, if a server goes down, Kafka automatically redirects the data to the another server. This is nothing but again distributivity feature or distributivity property. And step 5, the data processed and used. Once the consumer receives the data, they can store it in a database, analyze it, or trigger the events. Kafka can work tools like Apache Spark, Flints, and Hadoop for deeper analysis. These are also other kind of the tools for real-time data streaming. So once consumer receive the data, they can store in a database, analyze it, or trigger it. So by using these 5 steps, your Kafka will work. Let us see once again what are the 5 different kinds of the steps. Let me explain the 5 different kinds of the steps. The very first one is producer send the data, Kafka stores data, consumer read the data, Kafka balances the load, and data is processed and as well as used. These are the 5 main steps where each and every producer, consumer plays a vital role, and broker also plays a vital role to store the data. Producer for producing the data, consumer for consuming the data, and broker is used to store the data, and Zookeeper is responsible for data balancing, load balancing, etc., etc. Okay, so these are the ways of the steps to how the how the Apache Kafka works. I think you understand this. Okay, so in my coming video I am going to say you regarding Kafka integrate different data processing models that we will see in my coming video. If at all you didn't subscribe my channel, please subscribe my channel, Intelligible Tutorials. Thank you one and all. Thank you.